Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the Gnome Train.
Woo! Chugga, 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 woo!
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
Ghastly ghouls and gnomish fools, welcome to FrazlGHAST. Here's Frazley, who is joined by Sai of Scrubs versus the World, and Lady Emma. On this episode, we will have some Halloween fun, from Sai's ghost stories to podcasting horror stories, and then Halloween trivia. We know that this releases after Halloween, but the spirit of Halloween lives on in our hearts. Plus, we don't want to report on Blizzard news, as it will be invalidated as of November 1st.
Thank you to Capo and Epicinsanity for help with that intro.
That was amazing.
Yes, I've been waiting to unveil that all week. It's like, I went to Epic and said, hey, can you do an epic intro? He even said he went out of breath doing that version of the intro.
That is awesome.
So without further ado, let's get the Halloween Gnome Train a-rolling!
Yay!
So, Sai.
Yes.
I hear that you have a few odd occurrences that you can't explain that have happened to you.
I have. All right. Buckle in, folks. You're going to think I'm crazy, or this will be fun. I don't know how to explain these stories. Got some background on me. I'm a pretty logical person. I try to, research things before I just jump to conclusions and try to find out all sides of the story. But these things I have no explanation for. So in the theme of Halloween, I'll let Fraz know, I will tell my stories from back in the day that I and my family and friends have actually experience. Back when I was a junior in high school, so this was 2000, 2001, somewhere in there, I learned how to play guitar. I was learning. I just had my amp for a couple months at this point, and I had a half stack. So for those who don't know what a half stack is, the big wall of amps that the cool bands, the rock and roll bands have, where you just see stacks of Marshalls and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, a half stack is one of those with an amplifier head on top of that. It's about 120 watts of pure awesome in my room. And when you turned it up to 1, it would rattle the house. I would get home from school about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I'd be the first one home. So I'd be home alone until about 4:30, 5 o'clock when my parents and my siblings got home from their stuff. And I remember one day, the first day, things started getting weird. I go into my room, I turned my amp on, and all the knobs were turned up to max power. So this horrible feedback comes in and hurts my ears, all that stuff. So then turn it down. I was like, oh man, what the hell was that? Why? I know I had it at like half, because if I got any more than that, it would be too loud to play because I didn't have headphones. So my siblings get home like, hey guys, who's messing with my amp? And my siblings are like, it wasn't me. Like, you take me to school. I take my brother, and my sister takes the bus, and she left, half an hour later and would never come in my room. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So the next day, go back, fix all my knobs and everything. turn it back on, and it's at full power. Only this time, after I turn it down, I hear something walking in my parents' room above me. So I, of course, I'm like, oh, that's not good. There's somebody in the house with me. I should be home alone. So I run upstairs real quick into my parents' room, and nobody's there. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's the heater, maybe, I don't know. So that's kind of weird. So I go down and play my guitar. And over the next 2 weeks, this happened every day. And then the feet got louder and they got louder. It was to the point where I would turn my guitar on to play it to drown out the feet because the feet were stomping around. And it sounded like at one point, like people were jumping on the floor. And I was by myself. So of course I'm freaking out. So one day after I'm like, all right, what is happening? So I get my parents come home. It happened again. And I'm like, Dad, there's something in your room. And my dad is one of those straight-laced, like you can't get anything by him. Everything's in your head kind of guy. You know what I mean? Those stern dads.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to this stuff, like, come on, dude, you're crazy. And so he's like, all right, let's go check it out. Because he just walked through the door. He got home a little early. So he comes up and we go upstairs. We go to open his door. Well, his door was locked. So I was like, dang it, your mom locked the door. So he calls my mom and he's like, hey, you locked the bedroom door. What are you doing? And while he's on the phone with him, I go back to my room and I hear the footsteps again. So I'm like, Dad, there's somebody in your room right now. And he's like, no, there isn't. So he comes down to my room and he hears the footsteps with me. So he's like, what the hell? So he's like, do we call the cops? And I'm like, you're the dad here. Figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to protect me. And we finally go, and it's one of those doors that has the little hole you can poke a paper clip through and pop the lock on the other side. And so we go up there and we pop the lock. And sure enough, there's no one in there. So he's like, that, I don't know what just happened right there. I was like, I don't know either, Dad. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So fast forward to the next day, happens again. And I'm like, Dad, I call him at his work this time. He had to stay a little late. I'm like, Dad, there's somebody in your room again, and the door's locked. And so gets home. I wait for him to get home because I'm not going in there because if it's an intruder, I don't want to be murdered. That doesn't sound like fun. So we go and we try the paperclip thing again, and the door won't pop this time. We jammed it in there. We tried safety pins. We tried everything we could to try to get this door open, and it wasn't opening. So my dad's like, oh, crap. Okay, well, I know my window's unlocked. Get the ladder, and you and your brother go climb through the window. So he's like, all right. So me being the oldest, I'm like, all right, bro, you're going first. I got your back. It's fine. So we go, we pop the screen, we open the window, and we get in. Well, this time, in the closet, the little cover to the crawl space now has shavings, like paint shavings or drywall shavings on the ground. Like somebody cut it open, and it was ajar.
Yikes.
My brother and I see this, we're like, oh, hell no, we're getting out of here. So we run, we open the door, and we go flying out. We're like, Dad, dude, the thing's ajar. We got stuff on the ground. It's getting crazy. This is not normal. So he wants my brother and I to now get the ladder and go pop our heads at the crawl space. And we're like, Dad.
No. Yeah, it's open. You're not going to go into no.
No. You're not going to send your teenage sons in to potentially get eaten by whatever's up there, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was going to do that. I was like, Dad, you're the dad. You're supposed to protect us, dude. And he's like, so he's doing everything in his power to not pop his head up. So
you do it. I don't want to do it. Yeah, you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get the ladder and he's like, fine, someone get me a flashlight. So we get him a flashlight and he beams the flashlight in the hole. He pops his head up and there's nothing up there. There is literally nothing up there. And he has no idea why that was cut because it was sealed. Because we had another access point down the hallway. It freaked him out. So now we're all like, what is going on? So as friends come over, they start seeing things. So my brother was sleeping in the living room. Our cousin stayed the night one night. Well, he heard, so in our house, to get upstairs, we had one of those staircases that you had to go up like 7 or 8 stairs, have a little landing, and then take a left and go up the rest of the way. And he heard what sounded like somebody jumping from the top down to that landing. And so he comes flying into my room. When he comes in, he's like, dude, somebody just jumped from the top of the stairs down to the landing. And I'm like, what? It's like 2 a.m. And so, of course, we check it out. There's nothing there. Now my mom's freaked out. And so my mom is very much into the paranormal. She's very, all that stuff. Like, you ask her if ghosts are real. Yes, 100% real. So she's like, we need to get a Ouija board.
Oh, no.
That's the next logical step into this, right? So we go into my sister's room, who had like a mirror on her door, like one of those mirrors, and it fell off and it broke. Well, in the door pattern, and this is totally, I get that we see faces and things because that could be a defense mechanism through evolution, whatever. But there is clearly a face in her door that does not look very happy. Of course, that freaks us out even more. We continue forth with this Ouija board session. So we have myself, my now wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, / friend, and my sister, my brother, my mom, and a couple of our other friends in my sister's room. And we start this thing, and I'm not on the board. We start going through, and of course we pick something up, as you do when you do a Ouija board thing. All of a sudden, my sister's closet door starts kind of creaking open. We're like, oh, okay. Maybe it's a gust of wind. Maybe the door jam's not set right. Whatever. So we keep going, but we're still talking. And then we ask the thing, did you move the door? And of course it says no. Then something else happens. And I'm like, I need to get out of here. So I go downstairs. And as I go down the stairs, I hear everyone start screaming. Like, okay. So I run back up the stairs. And what had happened was the closet door opened all the way, slammed itself shut, and then ripped itself back open. Now, I wasn't in there for that, but there was probably 10 people in there for that. And they swear up and down to this day that that's what happened.
Wow.
So yeah, so at this point, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going in there again. Sorry, sister, you're on your own.
Yeah.
We're freaking out. So then a couple weeks go by and more friends see things. My girlfriend, my parents were cool, so they let like my girlfriend stay the night with me. My now wife stayed with me. I had an Xbox in my room, so she heard the Xbox buttons clicking, and then she heard the knobs on my amp start turning, like back and forth. And so she wakes up, like she jolts awake and like watches this stuff happen. And then another fun thing was my blinds just slowly turned and opened.
I just looked over at my blinds over there. I'm like,
yeah. So at that point, she wakes me up and I'm like, what's going on? And my blinds were moving, but it looked like the heating vent was hitting them.
yeah.
And I kept them closed all the time because I didn't want my neighbor looking in my room. I was like, why are they open? Like, what's going on here? So I closed them. That happened all the time, apparently. But I'd sleep through it because I had my music on. And so finally, before we move, I had my best friend sitting in the living room with me. And it was just him and I in the house. And I was like, dude, I don't know what is happening here, but there is some weird stuff happening. And he was like, whatever, man. Like, I don't believe you. Everyone's talking about it. You're crazy, basically. And right as he says that, my sister's door slams shut. And we're like, uh-oh, okay, somebody's in the house. Like maybe my siblings were gone or something.
Yeah.
Or, we left the window up. But it was middle of winter, so why would we leave the window open? And right as he goes, he kind of looks at me like, what was that? And I was like, dude, I told you. We hear the doorknob click. We hear it swing open again, and it slams. And we're like, oh, hell no. We're getting out of here. So then we get up and we just bolt out. Like, we're done. We were done with this. And then fortunately, a couple months later, I moved out. But man.
Yeah. I see why you would move out of that. I mean, that's just like, yeah, for audio listeners, I've been freaked out the whole time, and I'm not overselling it. I've literally, like, I've had the chills the whole time.
But don't most people have certain stories like this with their house? Because I know I had a similar story with my main house that I lived in for years.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff out there.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people die and spirits kind of are around, so...
I would be left home alone a lot when I was a kid, and I would hear things. I mean, things that...
Frazley, those are the voices in your head. We've gone over this.
Oh, okay. Yes. That makes me feel a little bit better, but still, wow. At least we know that they like Xbox and guitars.
Right. Yeah. So it was a friendly ghost that liked to scare the crap out of us.
Yeah. So ever since then, you've never found like what it was, or did you hear from people that moved into the house?
No. So after we moved out, the people after us, I mean, they're just normal folks. They're older. And we asked our neighbors, like, hey, has anything weird happened? Like, because we were friends with them still, even though we moved. And they're like, no, they haven't said anything or run out of the house screaming. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, mine was just a little girl who liked to leave hair ties everywhere.
Ugh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Now, did you own these hair ties or were they?
No. So this is before I was born, and my mom just moved in with my oldest sister. And apparently before my second sister was born, my mom would constantly see my younger sister talk to someone, like someone was there.
Oh,
And anytime my mom would ask her who you're talking to, and she's like, oh, no one, just a friend. So it's like, okay, is it an imaginary friend? Is it like what? So didn't think anything of it. After my sister was born, she was other sister stopped talking to her. It just disappeared. When my mom was pregnant with me, my other sister started talking to this invisible person. Every single time my sisters were talking to this person, hair ties would be randomly left everywhere throughout the house. And my mom would never bought them. They didn't belong to us, didn't belong to our neighbors. But there's these hair ties. Well, anyways, my mom asked my neighbors if there was like anything going on, like from the previous owners. And my mom found out the reason why the previous owners wanted to sell is because their little girl died on the way to the hospital.
oh,
She had a fever and everything. And so my mom checked it up to being maybe this girl's spirit is still in the house. Her parents' family is left, but she's still here and needs that comfort. So she's going to my siblings to talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
that is awesome. That's a cool story.
Yeah.
In my opinion, everyone has those little stories of their house. There's always
Yeah, I mean,
something.
Those bumps in the night and stuff like that.
Mhm.
My mom has them too from when she was a little kid, and hers are more scary than mine. Like hers, like the thing was trying to like come at them and do not bad things, but it was like they felt threatened, like endangered.
A vengeful
But-
spirit.
Yeah, it could have been something bad. I don't know. A little side note, like I always joke, like I don't know what I believe really.
Yeah.
But I always mess with my kids. So when they start chanting, that's like the one thing that drives me crazy. I always say, guys, if you chant, that's how you summon demons. Like, you want us to get demons? And so now that's like the little joke in our house because they caught on to me. But
Well, I mean, I was talking with Michael and Michael, we had a discussion on the Genome Project about how there's just that something that you don't see, you don't know, that spooky thing. I mean, there's a reason why there's all these ghost movies out there and ghost stories. I used to read books from Williamsburg. Of like one was like this person was saying in an old house, and there was an eye in the hallway staring back at them. And when I saw that, I slammed the book closed. I was like, I am done. And like, yeah, I'm gonna put a hair tie on that because I'm freaked out. I think the listeners are freaked out already. But we're going to do something that's even scarier. Well, I don't know if it's scarier, but they're scary in a different realm.
Frazley, are these inappropriate photos you're going to show us next? Because that would be very scary.
That's After Dark. That's not here.
Oh, After Dark. Sorry.
Yes. So, we talked with you back on episode 107. And
Yes.
figured it'd be good to ask you for an update. What are some horror stories of things that have happened since we last talked. Things that would make podcasters wet their beds.
Losing all their data.
That is a good one. Yeah.
Yes.
But for me, the biggest one I have to say is I've released a few shows late. Being a bi-weekly show, having inconsistency is not good. The last one I did, I had to release it a week late because my schedule was crazy and I had a sick kid, so I had no way of making it happen. But
yeah,
for the sake of consistency, like I have to prepare better for that. Get on my edits earlier because I just don't know what my day-to-day is going to be. I had another one I had to delay really bad because of vacation. I just didn't prepare, but that's all scrub stuff. No pun intended. The things I've learned.
I know. I mean, I'm actually in this episode ready for a while. I'm at BlizzCon for that very same reason, and I want to make sure I get it out there because I was talking with a podcaster. Consistency is key. I had one day I released mine hours late. I knock on keyboard have not released one past the Monday yet. I know it's coming, and it's going to happen at some point.
But people need to remember, everyone has lives.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Life happens.
Yes.
As long as you let them explain, it's like, yeah, this happened. Here it is. Sorry it's late. Or sorry it couldn't happen this week because, life happened.
Mm-hmm.
People need to understand that. And it's the same for them as well.
And the cool thing is everyone's pretty understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We see interactions I've had, so
yeah,
it hasn't been bad.
And as long as you tell your audience why, they can definitely be understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than my term of life happens, people get a little cranky with that. What are some triumphs you've had podcasting in your recent journey?
I'm launching episode 15 tonight, and I know most shows don't get that far. So I think getting past the first 10, staying with it has really been awesome. I'm pretty proud of that because usually I'll start something and, I won't finish it. You can ask my wife about that.
I totally understand where you're coming from that. I have lots of great ideas. I throw them at Frazley, and Frazley actually does something with them because I wouldn't. I have the ideas, and that's as far as they go.
I am frankly surprised that this show is up to 131 episodes. It's one of my longest running projects. So I'm in awe that we're here now talking about ghosts in our attic and stuff like that. So I mean talk about scouts in my closet. It's my follow through on stuff sometimes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Way to go on getting past the first 10. Keep at it because I think you're doing a great job, and I like where the podcast is going. I like the stories you bring out because
thank you.
That's more exciting than the news. Sometimes it's the people behind it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I figure too that there's so many news shows out there. You got the Unshackled Fury guys, you got Scott Johnson's projects, you got Pat Crane's stuff, you got all kinds of great stuff out there, and I want to try to capture the player. Like, what's your perspective? Because we can learn stuff from each other and do things that we enjoy and have a great time doing it. So I've been having a blast with it lately. So hopefully everyone else has too.
And Allie says you do a great job.
Oh, thanks, Allie.
And now that we talk about scary stories of both the physical world and the podcasting world, and now that I crawl back out from underneath the desk. So Halloween is fun for dressing up. What is one of our favorite costumes we've ever dressed up as?
Oh, so the one I have yet to top. One year, my wife and I were the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood. And I went and got one of those little old lady nightgowns with the buttons. And I made sure it was like a size and a half too small for me. So the buttons were kind of pulling a little bit. And so I had fur coming out of there. And then I had fur coming out of the sleeves. And then I had the shower cap on with the wolf ears coming out. That was my favorite one of all time.
That's awesome. And Emma, how about you?
For most of my Halloweens, I've usually dressed up as a black cat or a witch, aka myself. The one that really stands out is the one my mom kind of helped me make. I was very ungrateful at the time where, it wasn't perfect enough, or, she missed something, or she's not making it fast enough, or the material she got was horrible because that was the material we could, afford at the time. So, I was being an ungrateful child, but I still have that in my closet. I don't fit it, but I still have it in my closet because she made it for me. And she took the time and effort and making it the way I wanted it to be made, which was great because I made the sleeves, one of those like wizard sleeves, because it was a witch outfit, that was super long and very pointy. And we put an extra fabric, and that was my bags for trick-or-treating. It's basically I'll get the candy in my hand, and then I would put it in my sleeves. Like a wizard, pretty much, or a witch. Everything was...
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was one of the greatest things, because I didn't have to carry a bag like everyone else. I had sleeves. Bag of holding sleeves. What more could you want?
That's fantastic.
And that would be a great thing for any D&D people who want to have a thing as well. I mean, I when you're going trick-or-treating with your kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's basically, if you ever watch the new like shows like Games of Thrones, it's like, even in the books, they were saying that they reach into their sleeves and pull out the thing that they needed. And it's like, how many pockets are in those sleeves?
Wait, on Game of Thrones, they're not usually wearing clothes. Oh wait, different characters.
Yeah, different characters.
Okay.
Yeah. But even in the books, it's like their sleeves. Everything you need are in these sleeves. They're bags of holding.
Yes.
You just gotta fish around and figure out what you're grabbing, because grabbing the wrong thing. Yeah.
Tellarite's right. It sets you up for later on in life when smuggling your small bottles into venues is frowned upon.
What are you talking about?
We don't condone that at all. Yeah. I like that you mentioned the loving care on the costume, because my mom, when I was little, made me a Jonathan the Magnificent magician's costume. And it was so cool. I got mustache to go with it first, but the mustache made me look evil. So we took it off.
Did you have a lot of hidden pockets on you too with this outfit?
No, it was just a cape, but she spent all October working on it. So it was one of those, it meant so much to me because she got the fabric, she did all that. I've always remembered that as the love and the care. I mean, it's why it's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
And along with costumes, what is a favorite memory you've had from Halloween?
So my favorite Halloween memory was probably 5 or 6. It was like the first memory I have of Halloween. And we lived on this super steep hill. So we're talking like hills of San Francisco steep, but it wasn't in San Francisco. My dad gets us to the bottom, my brother and I. So my brother was really little. We're at the bottom, and I remember him just standing at the bottom of the hill, looking up, going, and so he grabs my brother and I under both arms, and he starts hiking up the hill. I remember he's like, just don't drop your candy. We have our bags. So picture this, 35-year-old dude, 2 kids in underarm, holding bags of candy up over our head while we're trying not to spill it. It was pretty funny.
Wow.
You need the sleeves of holding.
We did. We needed those.
29, so 35. By the time I'm 35, I don't know if I could carry 2 6-year-olds up a hill.
Yeah, he was about dead when he got to the top. He had to stop a couple times. Looking back on it, it's just hilarious because I've done stuff like that with my own kids. So, they're like, Dad, I can't walk anymore. So, I got 2 kids on both shoulders, fireman style.
Yeah.
All right, just don't spill your candy.
And Emma, how about you?
All right, so a little bit background with me is my parents basically raised me and my sisters atheists, but it doesn't mean they were atheists. So my mom is actually Wiccan. So I kind of got a bit of the Wiccan influence. We also have Jewish in our background, so I got a little bit of Jewish. So I was brought up to appreciate every religion, but the reason why I bring up the Wiccan one was one of my favorite memories of growing up with my mom is actually celebrating Samhain with my mom each year, taking part of that and what it actually represents, where it's kind of saying, all right, we write things on paper of things that we want to burn, all the negative stuff that we don't want in the upcoming year. And we would plant a list of things that we do want to come in the coming year. And it's kind of like just saying, let's get rid of the negative and grow the good.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a nice little tradition that we would do. And I will honestly miss the trick-or-treating. And my mom is a huge Halloween person. So our house was always the epic best one done.
Nice.
To the point where you get a 6-year-old crying their eyes out because they can't take 5 steps onto the property because they're scared.
That's awesome.
And you can see the parents trying to coax them and tell them everything's fine. And then the kids get to the door and they say trick or treat or knock on the door. And then this big giant spider falls down right on top of their head.
That is awesome.
So
Wow.
I think my mom still has a spider too that does that. And yes,
That is awesome.
it planted it right above so it would drop right on your head. But hidden between hot and stuff so you wouldn't know it's there until it's too late.
Yours kind of reminds me of if I was a kid going to your house, I'd be terrified because one of my favorites has to be when my sister and brother-in-law were watching me once for a weekend in Indiana. So on the TV, there was an advertisement for a haunted house at the local children's museum. And I thought, I thought I'd been to them before. I mean, I'm thinking back, I'm like, how many haunted houses have I been to? Maybe thinking haunted mansion. You know, kind of where the joyful ghost and we'll hitchhike with you. Da, 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 da. I mean, you know, like all like. I'm thinking maybe what could be bad. I told my sister that my parents had taken me to haunted houses before. She was kind of unsure, but was like, okay. So she went on what I was saying. We get there. I'm going through. I'm like, I mean, I was like cowering in corners at every single. I cried and screamed at every turn, and I have never wanted to go back to haunted house ever since. I've got a friend who we've been to Universal on the nights that they were doing haunted horror nights.
Oh man, yeah.
And I said, you can go. I'm not going. I've seen YouTube videos. I would just be crying my eyes out.
I would love to go. I love haunted houses. Vancouver has an amusement park and they do Fright Night, and I would love to go to it if they didn't have like an half an hour to an hour lineup for each of the haunted houses. They sell way too many tickets and let too many people go in at once into the park, which makes it not enjoyable. But when they first did it and it was not very well known, it was amazing. And then there's just a regular nursery, but they do a haunted house every year. And I go every year and I just love it.
You would.
It's Potter's Nursery. So if you're in Vancouver, definitely, I'm not getting paid to say this, but go. And they changed it up where I think they give you 2 haunted houses now, where it used to be just one big one. It's a lot of fun. I think they have raised the price, which sucks. But yeah, it's great. And I'm one of those people that will go to a corn maze at night.
Oh, nice. I went to one last night, actually.
It's so much more fun at nighttime because it's harder. In the daytime, it's so easy because you can see where the paths that everyone takes. And nighttime is the best time to go.
I'm already freaked out in the daytime at corn mazes when you're the only person there and nobody else is around. I mean, it's already creepy enough at times in corn mazes.
That's only if you have a scarecrow that's walking around and wants to make friends with you by giving you a hug.
And Capo says that they used to go to the annual haunted house in Jacksonville, and they would spend more time laughing at how lame they are than being scared of everything that they threw at them.
I also have a thing when I go through haunted houses, because I do go with friends, I have to be in front. That's just my little tweak. And I have to have someone behind me because I have this big fear of someone stabbing me in the back.
So you're more okay being the first one to be scared.
Yeah, so the other person is going to be the victim behind me, not me. So I'm good because I can't see what's behind me.
And I mean, and that's smart. There's a place around us called Haunted Hospital, and you sign a waiver saying it's okay to throw you out a second-story window because there's a net catching you, but they can throw you out a window.
I don't know if I'll be okay with that. I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah, I'm afraid of heights too. And I think you should be afraid of our next thing.
Oh, no.
So trivia with Emma is a tradition of this show. So we figured what better than to pit Emma versus Sai. So Frazley has a set of trivia questions that are about Halloween.
And I figured we can learn some facts about Halloween and have a fun along the way. Whoever answers first, they're multiple choice, so it's a little bit easier. But whoever answers first gets the stuff.
Can you just give us the question first, and if we can't figure it out, then give us the multiple choice?
Okay.
Do we need like a buzzer, or are you going to ask us individually?
How about this? Just for fun, go, ah.
Just make the sound from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Ah!
And Raz is right. I was possessed.
Okay.
You don't expect
I think I got my buzzer.
gnomes.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Okay.
So you're on your own on what you want to say.
I'll just do the Dumb and Dumber sound.
Okay. So the first jack-o'-lantern was made out of what? Let's see. I think Emma was first.
Turnips.
Yes.
Dang it. I actually knew that one.
Emma gets a point. So then According to superstition, if you stare into a mirror at midnight on Halloween, who would you see?
Bloody Mary?
Wrong.
If you stare into the mirror.
Yes, at midnight at Halloween. I'll list off the 4 for this one. Bloody Mary, your future spouse, your death, or dead ancestors? Emma.
Death?
Wrong.
Thinking. I'm going dead ancestors.
Wrong.
Okay, so it's not Bloody Mary because I said that. It's not that. What was the number 2 option? Because I'll take
Your
that
future
one.
spouse. Okay, I'll give you that.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did Halloween originate? Yes.
I'm going to say Germany.
Incorrect.
I'm going to say United States for some or America.
Incorrect. Want me to list out the options?
Sure.
Do it.
England, America, Scotland, or Ireland? Yes.
England.
Wrong.
I'm going to go Ireland.
Correct.
Yes. Yes. I got one. There's a lot of traditions that we still, like the turnip one comes from Ireland. A lot of that stuff we still celebrate.
Imagine carving a turnip.
Dude, those things are creepy. Have you seen those?
Yeah, because they
No.
don't hollow them out like a pumpkin. They just carve the faces into them.
Google it
Oh.
real quick, man. It is a good time.
I'm looking at it right now.
I almost want to bring that back because that is too good.
Wow! yeah. Don't Google turnip jack-o'-lantern. Wow. I'm glad we went to...
Well, pumpkins was the American thing because turnips weren't really native here, but pumpkins were.
Right.
and they look a little less scary.
These things are great.
Our artwork is a pumpkin.
Nice.
For the next one, which is the top-selling candy for Halloween?
on. Before, where from? Top American?
It doesn't say that.
Canadian?
It says top-selling candy.
Okay.
And Sai buzzed in.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Reese's.
Wrong.
I'm going to say candy corn.
Correct.
Oh,
And Emma's ahead by 2. And
it's kicking my butt, man.
I like Halloween, okay?
I was totally going to study for this, and I just didn't have time. That's all right. We
always
got
got to study. Hey, kids at home, study for this stuff.
do your homework, kids.
Yes. And don't mind the weird sounds up in your attic.
Or watch out for those hair ties.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many witches were burned at the stake in the Salem witch trials? Yes.
13?
Incorrect.
The Salem witch trials specifically, or are we going like that whole era?
It just says Salem witch trials.
I'm going to say 11, Fraz.
Incorrect.
You want to give us a multiple choice?
13, 20, 33, or none.
Oh, trick.
Emma?
20?
Wrong.
I'm going to say 33.
Wrong.
Does not
I'm going to say none.
Correct. And,
Yay!
and in this, I forgot to mention on purpose, it has witches in quotations.
See, and dang it. I knew that too.
Okay. So the average American household spends how much on Halloween candy each year? The answer is scary.
The average American household.
Yes. And Emma,
200?
you're highballing it pretty far.
Oh. Well, you said I would be surprised.
Well, you would be surprised. And this is every average household. So, I mean, this is like down the street, all those streets. I mean, candy businesses are making a sweet profit.
I'm going to go a little bit off of what I spent, which was $25.99.
Higher.
Yeah, see, I would normally spend about $60.
Lower.
50?
Lower.
$26.
Higher.
35.
Higher.
45.
Lower.
40.
42.
Does Tony say 44?
44. I did. Yep, 44.
You got it.
I don't know. I think we said it at the same time, so I think we both get half of
We get a half. Yeah.
Okay, let me do a dash. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. So far, Lady Emma's winning.
It's not good, folks. This is
I
ugly.
think it's great.
And people are learning facts at home. So, what was the first wrapped penny candy in America? Yes.
It's that licorice thingy that's witch thing. Or Tootsie Rolls.
Yes, Tootsie Rolls.
Okay.
Correct. I'm going to think of now, like when I see those, I'm going to say licorice witch things. I'm going to think of that.
And you know what? If you had the video right now, you would see me like trying to twist it off in my hands. I'm like, those things.
And see, like when they get like all caught on there. I mean, have you had it like it's on so it almost melted into the thing? And it's just like, yeah.
But did you know Tootsie Rolls saved an army thing because their tank was leaking and all that, and they end up putting Tootsie Rolls on the tank?
No,
I have to find that article. I'm not doing it justice.
I believe it.
I believe it too.
Yeah.
Which day of the year has the highest candy sales? Yes.
October 31st.
Wrong.
Which day?
Yes.
You want an actual date, right?
Yes.
I'm going to say October 30th.
Wrong.
Okay.
You sure?
I'm sure.
October 15th.
Wrong. Do you need any hints?
No, I like taking guesses.
And Ali says November 1st, and that's wrong too.
Let's see here. It's Halloween themed, so it's probably not Valentine's Day.
No. And no one ever gives me candy on Valentine's Day.
Because I know that's a big one too. I'm going to go October 25th.
Wrong.
Did I say October 1st?
I don't know, but that's wrong too.
All right, I need a hint. I need
Okay.
Need to phone a friend here.
Phone a friend. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, you are calling Josh.
Hey, what's up? I'm Josh. Hey, sorry, how you doing? Oh, I see you're on that Twitch thing, Josh. Oh, Josh, you're doing a great job. And you told our scary stories. Oh, so what's up, Josh? What do you need help with?
I need to know what's the date of the highest candy sales?
Oh, I know this one. I found this in school. So I was in school, and the teacher said that they always say buy it not on October 28th, because that's when they charge the prices. Supply and demand, stuff like that.
Right.
So I say October 28th. Okay. I gotta go. Batwoman's on. Sorry. See ya.
So it's October 28th?
It was Sai who was asking me. So Sai, do you go with October 28th?
Well, I'm
Don't steal
confused.
Sai's phone friend.
Let's do it. Let's go October 28th.
You are right, Sai.
It was a charity answer. I appreciate it. I love it.
And Delroy says, I worry about Joe's education, Razzer's space bombing, and Gabbo's. I wasn't channeling you. No.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, of the 1.9 billion in candy sales, how much of it is from chocolate candy? Joe's still available, so if you ever need any more help later on.
Do you want a percentage or do you want like a rough dollar figure?
Kind of a rough dollar figure. I'll give you close to this answer.
Okay.
Of 1.9 billion in candy.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Lady Emma, would you like to go first?
Over 500 million. I don't know. I'm bad with numbers. I'm totally bad with numbers. Okay. I want to say it's 75%, but I don't know what 75% of 1 billion is. According to my boyfriend, 750 million.
1 billion?
Yeah.
Thank you, Emma's boyfriend. I don't know my math, so I'll go with that. But it's not that.
He was correct, by the way. The 75% of 1 billion, that is correct number. But I'm going to go with, it's chocolate only, right? Like chocolate-covered candies?
Yep, it's just chocolate candy.
Oh, man. I would not be good on a game show.
Me either.
Right,
I would lose
go.
$1 million.
I'm going 932,758,232.25 for the win.
That's very specific. Wow. if we were on the Price is Right, I think you would be close.
But what did it go over?
It's under.
So I went over.
Is it 1 million?
No. No.
Billion, 1 billion, or whatever.
It's 1 billion's closer.
It's like 1.1 billion.
Closer.
Is it 99 whatever how many nines 0.9 million?
I think that's lower. But I'm going to just say Emma said 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
Right?
1.2. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think that's what you're saying in your answer. Again, my math is bad, so I don't.
Yeah, my math is bad too.
So the days leading up to Halloween account for what percentage of the year's candy sales? Yes.
Oh, because Christmas and Valentine's Day are big. Easter's big too. I'm going to say it accounts for 30%.
You went over.
15%?
Over.
Oh.
Wow. Let's go 11%.
Close.
Okay. I will say 10%.
Correct. I'm sorry, Sai.
Sorry, as soon as he said close, I'm like, okay.
Our trivia is not always fair, so I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm giving an effort. 110.
So, what does the English word hallow mean? Yes, Emma.
Shoot, I want to say Hallow Eve.
Yeah, hallow.
Yeah, it's Hallow. Isn't it? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm stuck at Hallow Eve. Like EVE.
I'm giving you a hint. I'm holding my hands in prayer.
Saint Hallow Eve?
Yes, Saint.
Oh, I was missing the saint. Okay.
I got where you were going with All Hallows Eve, All Saints Eve. So
yeah.
That's why I give you the hint. So I wasn't just trying to make Sai lose in a.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You got it right.
So, what phobia do you suffer from if you have an intense fear of Halloween? Yes.
I'm going to wing a wild one here and go All Hallows Ween of phobia for the win.
And close, and Taylor is wrong too. They said lamiophobia. Nope. And Razors is wrong. Pumpkin spice phobia. And who hates pumpkin spice? Come on, it's good.
I don't. I love it.
See, I know werewolves one, which is lupin phobia. I think that's what it was. Lupin.
That's not one of the answers.
I know that I'm thinking for I know werewolves, not for Halloween though. Halloween. Oh, well, agoraphobia. You're afraid of going outside.
And yeah, and for this one, you're going to go get candy. So of course you're not going to be afraid of going outside. I'm afraid of going outside, but I want candy.
Yeah. Deadophobia. I don't know.
It's about as good as I got too.
I will read off the options: phasmophobia, samhainophobia.
It's B. It's B.
Yep, correct.
You actually practice it though.
Yeah, but I'm not a phobia of it.
I had no idea, Fraz.
So this next one, and I'm going to play right now a cheap knockoff version of this movie's soundtrack, one that I got the royalty-free rights to.
Excellent.
So Halloween, the movie, was made in 1978 on a low budget. In how many days? Yes.
13.
That would be awesome, but sadly not.
Oh.
Let's see. If I remember correctly, it was not very long, but I don't remember the number. So I'm going to wing one here.
Yes.
And I'm going to go. It's got to be something weird like 7 days.
Add a couple sevens to it, maybe, or at least 7 and plus or minus a few. It's
21.
Yeah, correct.
Well, I mean, it was a factor of the answer. It counts for something, right?
Okay, have a point. Have a point. I give you each have a point.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really should be letting you get some of these, shouldn't I?
No, go for the kill every time. Never give up. That's how you wipe raids, just so you know.
Yes, go for the kill. And according to legend, a unibrow, tattoos, and a long middle finger are all signs of which Halloween creature?
A unibrow?
A werewolf?
Correct, Emma. So now we know that werewolves.
Have unibrows and has a really long middle finger.
And which celebrity does not have a Halloween birthday? And I'm gonna list these off because this is a cool fact. Vanilla Ice, Dan Rather, Peter Jackson, or Kevin Bacon. Yes.
Kevin Bacon.
Correct.
Damn, that's what I was gonna say.
I got one right.
So I gotta say, Sai, I'm not even gonna tally up the stuff because you'd be scared by it. We've already been scared tonight, so I'm just gonna say that Emma, you won, and you win a ginormous bucket of your favorite Halloween candy. The only issue is you'll never be able to finish it. So, what is your favorite?
Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. I don't know if I've ever heard of Mr. Big.
You haven't had a Mr. Big? Okay, it's like a wafer in the middle, and there's caramel, and then there's chocolate above around that.
I gotta look this up.
Sounds delicious.
Oh, how do you not have Mr. Bigs there?
I don't know.
I know. I'm
good
scared
question.
that you're gonna Google it and you're gonna get porn.
No, I did not get porn, but I got a bunch of pop stars. There's a song called Mr. Big. Oh, it's Cadbury made Mr. Big. Okay,
So
I
it's
don't
like
think
a
I've
Kit
ever-
Kat then?
No, well, it's not.
Well,
Kit Kat.
kinda ish.
No, because it's one big giant bar. It's Mr. Big.
It looked like a giant turd. I'm sorry.
No, the giant turd is Tootsie Roll Pops when you get the big ones and you warm up your hand and you make it look like turd. And then you put it on top of a cat litter cake. And the cat litter cake is like brownie on the bottom, then mousse in the middle. And you get the white Oreos and you pound them up and you get a small section of it and you dye those little bits green. And then you mix it up with the thing.
That's
And it
awesome.
makes it look like cat litter. And then you put the Tootsie Roll Pops on top. Not that I have done this at all.
Wow. Oh.
I could totally see that being a thing. Because when I was a kid, Tootsie Roll turd jokes were always on the table.
And it gets all over your hands. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah. When you're a kid, you don't care, though. You're just making a turd and laughing at it. So,
yeah. Well, I want to thank you both for joining me on FrazlCast tonight. It went by fast, but we had a great time.
oh, that was so fun.
So where can we find you on the interwebs? We will start with Sai.
So you can find me on Twitter at Scrubsverse. That's my show. Or you can do my personal Twitter, which is at Cyrub_KOC, and that's CYRUB_KOC. And you can find the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and pretty much everywhere else. And it's just Scrubs vs. the World. So if you Google that, it'll pop up for you.
And Emma, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lady_Emma. And that's the main place you can find me. I'm sorry, I'm boring. Only one place. I don't
It's
do
all right.
Facebook. I have an Instagram, but I don't really do it. And yeah, so you can pretty much find me on Twitter all the time, anytime.
Cool. Well, you're the Halloween trivia champion. So, I mean, you got that going for you.
Well, Halloween is my favorite time of year.
That's true. It's mine too, but my trivia skills wouldn't show that.
Activating customized Orphan Safe transporter.
Well, I am back in my home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Nomergon.
Wow, I'm a gnome.
So I'm packing my bags right now as we speak. Better remember clean underwear, a phone charger. But you know what? I've got time for a few things.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome, let's do that. There's a lot that happened in the community at BlizzCon and virtually from home. So this was recorded early in the week so I could be at BlizzCon. But here is what I saw before I left. You will see a ton of great content from creators with all the news that was announced. Realm Maintenance released podcast over the weekend. There was a live recording of the Weekly Reset, which is Talius and Nevitel's weekly awesome series on YouTube. Oh, and Talius and Nevitel hosted the Q&A. I am speaking in the past here, so I have no clue how it went, but I know it wasn't a shit show. And Icy Banks has found a video by Victor Omen about the process of rebuilding WoW inside of Unreal Engine 4. Victor is working on Orgrimmar right now, so it's unreal how well this looks. I am a huge proponent of the creative outlets. It's changed my enjoyment of WoW for the better. So this community is what keeps me going and why I made it such a huge focus of this show.
Editing Gnome here. One final change we were finding as we were working on this episode. The final prize pool for the MDI and AWC will now be $660,000 as combined, but this has been increased with the direct support of the esports toy. So thank you, community, for the awesome job in supporting esports.
Well, there's been another packed episode of FrazlCast. It was a lot of fun. I'm so glad I talked with Sai and Emma. I just had a fun time, not goofing off, but, having fun. I was a little scared, though, during some of those things on Twitch. Oh, you should see my reactions. Kappa said that my facial expressions were gold while Sai was recounting his experiences. And we've got a BlizzCon reaction episode set with Allie, Red Pally Joe, and the Scruffy Druid. That will be recording this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then it will go out on Monday. So for a little while, we'll go back to Thursdays. Things are always subject to change for different guests and stuff like that. And I need to give a shout out to Ixty Pierce, who said that they loved my videos. This was a comment on Be Great Today 113 about confidence. And shout out to Lance Blizz Gamer, who put us on the sign for Gone Before the Storm. It was so cool. I was looking at the sign, I was like, oh, I know that name. Wait a second. That's FrazlCast. So it made me feel so cool. I've saved that to my phone. Shout out to Kara, who said that I have the best segues, and they were talking with Allie about how they wanted to see me on a Segway riding around BlizzCon. Though I'm glad it never happened because I can be dangerous on Segways. I was on the Morally Grey Podcast Patreon exclusive podcast, How Have You Not Seen That? And we discussed the 1978 movie Halloween. Definitely consider supporting them to hear this episode, plus all the episodes like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Pulp Fiction, and plus they do an amazing podcast. And while your wallet is out to support Jen of Morally Grey Podcast, I'd like to thank those who have supported this show financially. Thanking my Twitch subs out there. Brandon/Mr. Ali, Capo, Chris, Cynic Dark, Easy Mac, Jenden, Michael, Navix, Pete, Razarus, Space Budgie, Stone, Crunk, Telleroid, Thorn, Watson0715, Wicked Kitten 13, and Zorts. And they get a Capo, Scruffy, and Zorts for the bits. If you want to support this show financially, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. And if you have Twitch Prime to Amazon Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime subscription on my channel or any other channel out there and support some awesome creators. All of your support goes up supporting this labor of love. Thank you so much. Well, I am Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. So until next week, when we go, oh my gnomeness over BlizzCon news, be awesome.
Apply Buxley to affected area. Buxley here to answer your World of Warcraft questions in this edition of Ask Buxley. This question is about housing. To whom it may concern, we'd like to offer you a chance to rent a place in downtown Orgrimmar. It's within walking distance of the bank and auction house, and a short walk to most other things you might enjoy. This location has had 4 previous owners, half of which are still alive, which is pretty good odds. It recently came available after the last owner left town in a hurry. You can have all the stuff she left behind, and we're about 60% sure none of it's cursed or would do you any harm. But if you find something like that, you're certainly welcome to keep it. As an added bonus, if you move in, we'll let you direct a large group of trolls, orcs, Tauren, blood elves, goblins, death knights, forsaken, and pandarans. They'll mostly pay attention to what you have to say. We're pretty sure the previous owner will be gone for good, but we could sure use your help if she shows up again. Please let me know if you're interested. Signed, Zappy Boy. P.S. For the Horde. I have been thinking about moving into a larger place. Come to think of it, I haven't had a place of my own since Draenor. Hey, wait a minute. I see what's going on here. He's trying to trick me into becoming the Horde leader. No way! I've seen what happens to Horde leaders. They end up dead, stoned, letting off purple death gas, or wandering off to talk to elementals. I think I'm gonna pass. Thanks for your question.
If you'd like to see what I'm up to every day, follow Ask Buxley on Twitter. You can listen to the archives at AskBuxley.com.
Moo.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. The Gnome Train Intro is by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth, and the opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.